questions before we go back to where we left off here.
Okay.
What kind of vehicle did you know the defendant to drive at the time this all happened in February of 2024?
It was a little bit older, dark blue Honda, I think, Accord.
Okay. And because I don't know that we got an answer for the record here, I asked you before the lunch break whether you, to your knowledge, Melody had any other boyfriends at the time that message was sent back on January 7th.
No, she did not.
So we're going to pick back up here with some exhibits, and I'm going to ask to show the witness State's Exhibit number 10E2 for identification. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. And Megan, what is depicted in State's Exhibit 10E2?
It is a picture of Melody's phone laying on something, a table or something. And she has, it appears to be, there's a map showing. I can't decipher what app it is, but.
And did you have a chance to, look at Melody's phone once you recovered it?
I did a little bit.
How do you know this is Melody's phone?
Her picture is on this map as her little, I don't know what that's called, icon. I do believe this is like 360, but I can't tell because of this broken monitor.
Move to Interstates 10E2, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Exhibit 10E2 is admitted.
Permission to publish.
Publishing now.
Okay, Megan, now we're looking at State's Exhibit 10E2 here. Is this the picture of Melody's phone that you were just describing for us?
Yes.
And you said this looks like it might be some kind of map, app, or function in her phone?
Yes.
Are you able to recognize what app this is?
I am not an Apple user. I'm an Android user, so they look a little different from device to device. But
Right about in the bottom middle there, it says search maps on that, right?
I can't see it. Oh, search maps. Okay.
Did Melody have an iPhone?
She did.
Okay. Does this look like the map function on the iPhone? Potentially?
Yeah.
Now, this has an indication on a Morgan Creek Park. So what did that tell you when looking at this exhibit?
That she was near Morgan Creek Park or had been there recently, or yeah, I'm not.
And is this what came up on her phone as far as the map function when you would tap on it?
I'm not sure that I tapped on it that night. I was more trying to figure out who she was with. Because I had all the map locations on my phone from the Life 360 and the other things.
Okay, thank you, Megan. Appreciate it. Moving on, then, I think we were talking before the break about you watching her path of travel. Then we had the exhibit from Life 360 that showed that she went to Morgan Creek, Cherry Hill, Morgan Creek, and that kind of loop, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so after being in the area of Morgan Creek, were you able to watch and track where she moved from there, where her phone moved?
Came back to Marion.
Okay. And do you remember what location of Marion it came back to?
Close to our apartment, but an apartment complex a little bit away from us.
You remember what street that was on?
Can't recall the street name.
Is there a street near your apartment complex called Meadowview Drive?
Yes, yes, right off of East Post Road.
And is there an apartment complex in approximately the 1400 block of Meadowview Road?
Yes.
Sorry, Meadowview Drive. is what I meant.
Yes.
And is that the location where you saw then her phone and presumably her then proceed to?
Yes.
You kind of touched on it, but why is that the 1400 block of Meadowview Road Drive and the apartment complex, why is that significant? How close is that to your house?
A couple blocks, a block. The size of the blocks over there are strange, so.
So she's, at this point in time, she's about a couple blocks away from your house.
Yeah.
And based on your then watching her location and movement at the time, did she stay, or did it appear that her phone had stayed in that area for some period of time?
Yes.
Did she make contact with you at that time, or did you make contact with her?
Yes.
And do you remember how she reached out to you?
I think it was via Snapchat.
Now, previously in the evening, you had spoken via text,
Yep.
messaged via text, right?
Correct.
But this message came in Snapchat?
Yes.
Do you remember approximately what time this conversation with Melody via Snapchat occurred?
What time it started? Probably around the 1 o'clock hour, maybe a few minutes after.
Your Honor, I'd like to present to the witness State's Exhibits C1 through C4.
Counsel, is that the correct number?
Yeah, 10C1. Sorry, I forgot the 10 in front of it. Yeah. You see that?
I do.
Megan? Okay. And do you recognize what's contained in State's Exhibits 10C1 through 10C4?
Yep.
Is this screenshots of your conversation that you had with, who you believe to be Megan on Snap or Melody on Snapchat?
I do believe it was Melody on Snapchat.
Move to enter States C1 through C4.
Is that 10C?
10C1 through 10C4.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
10C1 through 10C4 are admitted.
Permission to publish, Your Honor.
Publishing now.
Before we get into these messages, I want to ask you, Megan, while you were talking with her, were you still confirming her location, as you previously noted, at being on the apartment complex on Meadowview Drive?
I was.
So starting here, this appears to be a screenshot where the conversation is taking place between Mel, the only one that matters. Tell us about that.
My child is the only one that matters.
Is that what you called her on Snapchat?
It was.
And then that conversation took place between you and then Mel.
Yeah.
So on here where it says me, that's you?
Correct.
You okay?
I am.
Okay. So it starts with Mel saying, "I'm on my way." See that?
I do.
Okay. And what did you say then after that?
Correction, I am the one. Wait, I'm sorry. Okay, she said, I am on my way. I said, all right.
And then she says, "Can you leave the door unlocked for me?"
Turn on your location. I'll get up and open it.
That question, "Can you leave the door unlocked for me?" is that something that Mel would normally ask you?
Typically, no, because she was very responsible about making sure she had her key, and like she wouldn't have just said leave the door unlocked. She would have said, "I'm home. Come open the door."
So you say in response to that, "Turn your location on. I'll get up and open it." So what had happened at that point in time then, from where you had been watching her location to you were asking her to turn it on?
Somebody shut it off.
So at some point in time, either when this conversation started or during this conversation, the location on Melody's phone turned off so you couldn't watch it anymore?
Correct.
So after you said, "I'll get up and open it," Mel says, "Okay," and then she said, "I'm down the street." What did you say in response to that?
It's open. Why are you down there?
So notably, I just want to ask, when Mel says, "M down the street," does she write like that usually or talk like that usually?
No.
So you ask, "Why are you down there?" And then Mel says, "Seeing a friend." And what was your response to that, if you can see it?
No.
Okay. Then I think we can go to State's Exhibit C2, or 10C2, I forget to say 10 here. So after you say no, then Mel says, "M literally coming." How do you respond to that?
Good.
And then it looks like you maybe give her some motherly-like directions there.
Absolutely.
All right. What did you tell her?
Get out of their apartment's parking lot. You will get charged with trespassing, especially at 1 a.m.
And then she says in response to that, "I'm not trespassing. We are literally just sitting in the car and talking." See that?
Yes.
And how did you respond to that?
Yeah, on their property.
Is this kind of a conversation that you might have with her, you think? Trying to explain to her?
Kind of.
And then it says, "My friend stays here. That's why." That's what looks like Mel says here. And how do you respond to that?
The landlord won't care who the F you are or who you know. Just get your butt back here so we can go to bed. You can call and talk. Hello?
And so somewhere in there, when you say, "Get your butt back here so we can go to bed," why did you say you can call and talk? Is there a break in
'Cause
there?
Earlier, she had said that they're just sitting out and talking.
So are you telling her to call you then?
Like she can call him and talk to him
Okay, gotcha. And so why at the end here did you say hello?
because there was a huge time delay in between the responses of messages.
Normally when you're talking to Melody, does she respond pretty quickly after that?
Immediately.
When you're in a conversation?
Immediately.
Okay, and so we see the beginning of another message here, so we're going to go ahead and switch to 10C3 here. Look at that. So at the top of that, we see the continuation there of what you're telling Melody. You can call and talk and hello, and then it looks like, well, tell us what's depicted here.
It's a video. She had posted it to her story sometime before this message was sent to me. I watched it, I was talking to her anyway. I seen her like listening to music, sitting in the backseat of a car. And it was that night.
So she's sending you, was this a video that was encrypted in this? Or?
Yes, it's a video.
So obviously we can't see the video portion, but this is a snapshot of what at least the title of the video looked like.
Yes.
Okay. What's it say?
Late night vibes.
So this is something you had seen earlier on her Snapchat story?
Yes.
All right. We'll go ahead and go down here. And you respond to that by telling her what?
Turn it back on.
What are you talking about?
Her location.
So the location hadn't been turned back on at that point in time.
No.
And then you said,
I already seen it.
are you talking about already seeing
The video.
And then what do you tell her?
The door is locked. Text me when you're coming in.
Now previously it looked like that she had asked you to unlock the door. You're telling her it's locked now. Right?
Yes.
Okay. And so you're telling her to go ahead and text you when she gets there and wants to be let inside.
Yes.
So after that, it looks like, what do you say next?
Hey,
And why are you saying that?
because there's another significant time delay and I haven't heard from her.
And then, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you say one more thing on the bottom of this one.
Hello?
Okay, now we're going to go to State's Exhibit 10C4. After you said hello, after that break, it looks like we see a missed call, or at least a couple missed calls. What's going on there?
I'm trying to get a hold of her.
For people who might not have Snapchat, is there a function you can use to call somebody on Snapchat?
You can call or video message or, yeah, it works just like a phone.
Okay. All right. And you tried to do that 3 times?
At least.
Any answer?
No.
And she didn't answer.
She didn't answer.
Okay, I think that's all we have for state's exhibits 10C1 through 10C4 for now. Now I'm going to ask to show you another exhibit, state's exhibit number 10E1. Do you see state's exhibit number 10E1?
I do.
And what is that?
It's another picture of Melody's phone laying on something of the Life 360 app and one of our groups that we had.
And is this essentially a screenshot of the Life 360 app and some information on Melody's location?
Yes.
Move to enter states 10E1 and publish, Your Honor.
Any objection to 10E1?
No objection, Your Honor.
10E1 is admitted. Publishing now.
Megan, states exhibit number 10E1 is now published here. Is this a picture of Melody's phone in that Life 360 app?
Yes.
Or is this your phone? I'm sorry.
Nope.
It's hers?
It's hers.
Okay. And this is some kind of group you guys were in?
Yes.
All right, we got Deb and Marcella in there. Who are they?
Deb is my mom. Marcella is my grandma.
So you're all watching each other's locations, or you can track each other, right?
Yes.
And then here in the middle, it shows you at Castle de la Hoffman, right?
Correct.
And it says since 5:40 a.m. yesterday. So that just shows where you've been during this time.
That was taken Sunday afternoon because I had left and then I went back home for a little bit.
So when we
Around
say yesterday,
yeah.
this refers to what, Sunday morning? Then?
Yes, 5:40 Sunday morning is what. Yes. That's
So then we have Melody here. And for Melody, it says location permissions off since 1:17 a.m. yesterday. What does that indicate?
somebody shut her location off at 1:17 a.m.
And that's 1:17 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
And was that during the same time you were having this conversation with who you thought was Melody, at least on Snapchat?
Yes.
And this would have been that time you were addressing with Melody's Snapchat account, who you thought was Melody, the location being turned off and telling her to turn it back on.
Correct.
Back to this, okay, I think we're done with this now. Thanks, Judge. Back to this video that you saw on Snapchat, the late night vibes. Remember that?
Yes.
You said you saw that previous in the night, right?
Yes.
Do you remember approximately the time you saw it?
In the 12 o'clock hour sometime?
Was it pretty early in the night?
Yes.
If the records showed around 11:40 p.m., would you have any reason to doubt that?
Absolutely not.
Your Honor, we previously submitted as an exhibit or presented as exhibit to the defense state's exhibit number 10I. It's a video. Have you had a chance to review this video before of the late night vibes?
Yes.
Okay. Did that appear to be a fair and accurate copy of the posting that Melody put on her story?
Yes.
Move to enter and publish state's number 10I, Your Honor.
Any objection to 10I?
One moment, please, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
10I is admitted. Tell me when you're ready.
We're ready when you are, Judge.
You can publish.
Why not? Niggas ain't worth my energy. Cut 'em off, make 'em feel it. I ain't dealing with nothing if it don't make sense to me. I never, ever.
Is that the video you saw on Snapchat story?
Yes, it was.
Is that your daughter Melody?
It is.
What's it appear she's doing there?
Singing along to a song that she don't know the words to.
Wasn't doing too bad. Is that the video you saw earlier in the night?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Your Honor. So we talked about it a little bit, but at the time you were conversing with, the Snapchat Melody there, did you have any reason at the time to believe you weren't speaking to anyone but Melody?
No.
Has that feeling changed since then?
Yes.
Why?
After reviewing it and not being like worked up because I was mad that she wasn't home, that's just not how she talked. If you remember earlier on, instead of saying I know, she would say IK or abbreviate stuff, and the last set of messages were more spelled out.
So it's not the type of syntax or way that Melody would speak via text message or electronic messages?
No.
After this conversation with who you thought was Melody at the time, did you speak with her again?
No.
Moving on, what notification did you end up getting on your phone then at a later date?
She had set up for people of her choosing as an Apple SOS message that would detect an impact. So I received a text message around 3 a.m. that there was an impact detected. 3:13 a.m. to be exact.
And I think we saw a little bit of that earlier, right? When we were showing the exhibits, that it came to your text message?
Possibly, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And your recollection is that detection, that alert to you as a person selected by Melody as an emergency alert came to your phone at 3:13 a.m.?
Yes.
Your Honor, we'd like to present to the witness State's Exhibit number 10D. You see State's Exhibit number 10D?
I did.
And what does that depict?
The SOS message that Apple automatically sends out once it detects a crash.
Move to enter State's Exhibit 10D, Your Honor.
Any objection to 10D?
No, Your Honor.
Exhibit 10D is admitted.
Permission to publish, Your Honor.
Publishing now.
So we're looking again at picture of this SOS message that came into your phone via text message. Is that right, Megan?
Correct.
And then the time down there says, as you testified to today, 3:13 a.m.
Yes.
And is there an indication of a location through the Apple Maps here of where Melody's phone was?
Yes.
Okay. And can you just describe to us what we're looking at here?
It's where the crash was detected. I'm not sure what their exact criteria are to say a crash was detected. It's pinpointing a location on the on-ramp to Highway 100 off of East Post Road, or off of Edgewood Road, I'm sorry.
So this is the on-ramp into Highway 100 from northbound Edgewood Road, is that correct?
Say that one more time.
So we see Edgewood Road going north,
Okay,
and then is that the on-ramp onto Highway 100?
correct.
When you received this message and you were able to see this location, what did you do next?
I didn't immediately react. Melody had set up Daisy, her aunt, also to receive these messages. She immediately contacted me and said that her and her husband were going out to the site to see if there was an accident.
Okay. And who's your husband?
Colby?
And so, to your knowledge, did Colby and Daisy then go out to this site to see if there was an accident out there?
Yes, they did.
What was your thought at this time when you saw this and called Colby and Daisy into action?
They actually called me saying that they were already in action, so I tried to stay at home and stay as calm as I could, knowing that they're reliable sources and they would let me know if I need to come out. And
Did Colby and Daisy then contact you?
they did.
And was that contact made while they were actively looking for this crash?
I think they had already gotten to the crash site and they called and said, there's no crash here. Again, at 3:13 a.m. or by 3:45 when they got there. Very dark, very quiet. You would have definitely seen a crash.
So Colby and Daisy went out to the site. They said there was no crash out there. Are you still at home at that time?
I am.
Now, you testified earlier that you had been watching Melody's movement that night, and she had been at Morgan Creek and Cherry Hill Park and those things like that, and that you had an idea that she may have been with the defendant, right?
Correct.
Did you reach out to the defendant?
I did.
How did you reach out to him?
Via Facebook Messenger.
All right, we'd like to present to the witness State's Exhibit number 10L. You see State's Exhibit number 10L?
I do.
State's Exhibit number 10L, what does that depict?
The very first part is way back on January 7th when he's telling me that he's there to pick up his items. And I said, okay, and then I proceeded to take them out to him. The next message I sent him was February 18th at 3:39 a.m.
Okay,
Asking him.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah,
Asking him if Melody was with him.
Okay. Does this exhibit contain a fair and accurate depiction of the conversation that you ended up having with him?
Yes.
Move to enter State's Exhibit number 10L.
Any objection to 10L?
No objection, Your Honor.
10L is admitted.
Permission to publish, Your Honor.
Publishing now.
And so we're looking at State's Exhibit 10L here, Megan. And you indicated that January 7th, 2024 is when Mr. Louisma had picked up the property from you, and this was the end of that conversation, right?
Correct.
So it looks like the two of you didn't speak on Facebook Messenger from January 7th to February 18th?
Correct.
And then February 18th at 3:39 a.m., you're sending him a message via Facebook Messenger. Can you read that?
Yes.
Are you able to see it?
Yeah, there you go.
And so what did you send to him?
Hey, is Mel with you? I need to talk to her now.
And it looks like there's an indication of an audio call. What's that?
I tried to call him because there's a time gap in between the no, not too much of a time gap there, but I didn't get a response right away.
Okay, so at 3:39 a.m., you messaged him and then you tried to call him a couple minutes later.
Correct.
And you can call on Facebook too, just like Snapchat.
Exactly.
Okay. So going down here at 3:56 a.m., does he respond to you?
Yes.
What's he say?
No, she's not with me.
And then what did you say in response to that?
Can you try and get a hold of her? I got a notification she was in a crash. Her phone called the cops too.
Did Mr. Louisma respond to that immediately?
Nope.
And then on February 18th, 2024 at 9:44 a.m., there's another entry as well. I think we can keep scrolling here.
Yeah.
What's that next entry at 9:44 a.m.?
Have you seen Mel? I still can't find her.
Now we're up to 9:44 a.m. here. At 9:44 a.m. on February 18th, 2024, had you, obviously you hadn't found her yet, right?
Correct.
Did you know where she was still?
No.
Where were you think, when you sent that message?
Driving back into Marion.
We'll get to kind of what you did in a second here when we get done talking about these conversations. So then we jump to 10:46 a.m. and you send another message to Mr. Louisma. What'd you send?
Was Mel with you last night till about 1, then you dropped her off? I have her phone and I'm going to call the cops very soon if I don't hear from her.
So why did you ask Mr. Louisma if Mel was with him last night until about 1?
Because she was back in our neighborhood.
So that's why you chose 1 o'clock, like
Yeah.
thinking that last time you saw her, or last time you had talked to her and saw her location at least,
It was like
around
1:17.
1 o'clock. And then you tell him that you have her phone and you're going to call the cops very soon if you don't hear from her. Why'd you tell him that?
Maybe if he would have relayed that to her, she would have been like, oh shit, mom's scared.
Okay. You thought maybe he could help you.
I thought if he was in contact with her and she was hiding out or something for some reason that, no, mom's being serious.
At this point in time, had you found Melody's phone?
Yes,
But you still didn't know where she was.
correct.
And then how does Mr. Louisma respond?
She wasn't with me. What's going on?
How did you respond to that?
At all? Do you have any friends that live close to us that you can check with to see if she's there?
Now, you're asking him if he has any friends that live close to us. Is that because, again, the last time you had seen her location was kind of nearby you?
Because she was at the apartment complex and I knew she didn't know anybody in the neighborhood.
How did Mr. Louisma respond to that?
No, BC. She never tells me to, whenever she tells me to come over, I tell her I'm not coming over without you knowing and you being there.
Now, when you read that, it says no BC. What's that mean?
I would guess because.
No, because whenever she tells me to come over, I tell her I'm not coming over.
Not coming over.
Okay, let's keep going in the conversation here. And then he replies, it looks like, to, do you have any friends that live close to us that you can check with to see if she is there? And what's he say?
I don't actually.
And then how do you respond to that?
I know you have been here. I have seen you on the camera. That's besides the point. Did you talk to her last night? Late at all?
And so that conversation with Mr. Louisma then looks like that ends around that time. That would have been started around 9:46 or so a.m. if you went back. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about what you had done up to 9:46 a.m. So we had left off with Colby and Daisy went out to try to find the accident. Didn't find an accident. You were still at home. What did you do after that?
They told me that they were going back home. And I, the uneasy mom, was like, well, maybe she set her phone on the top of the car that she was in and it fell off. Okay, I'm going to go out there. I can't sleep anyway.
Right.
So I went out there and it was around 4 o'clock in the morning. 4:30 maybe, but this time I can't really remember. Very dark, very quiet, hardly any traffic at all. So I got near that location that you've seen on the map, and I shut my car off, parked on the shoulder, turned my hazards on, and I had my window cracked a little bit because it was cold out. car's not running, radio's not on. And so I had taken her tablet with me, and I connected her iPad tablet to my hotspot. I could send the notification, like find my phone notification, or send an alarm from her iPad account to her phone. So I did that. And sitting on the side of the road, I kept doing that over and over. And I was like, I think I'm hearing things. So I rolled down the windows a little bit more. And I was like, no, I definitely hear an alarm. So then I rolled my window all the way down, and I was like leaning towards it, and no, there's an alarm there. There's for sure an alarm. So I get out of my car. I have my headlights on. I have my flashers on still. It's safely parked on the side of the road. And I start to walk down the on-ramp. The sound's getting louder and louder. And then pretty soon I can see a glow. And it lights up and it dims and lights up. I get up to it, and it's a phone laying face down on the white striped line.
So it was actually on the roadway?
Yes.
Is that a yes?
On the enter ramp onto Highway 100.
So when you say white line, it's one of those white lines, it's kind of marks
The-
the lane.
Yes,
Okay.
the lane marking road.
In what position was the phone in?
Face down?
Could you see the light coming from it still? Even
Yes.
when it was face down?
Yes. It was like glowing off of the white line.
So did you know you had found Mel's phone?
Yeah.
At what time was that, you think?
Maybe 4:45.
What did
Very
you
early.
notice immediately about her phone when you picked it up?
Before I ever picked it up, I noticed there was no phone case on it.
Why did that stick out to you?
I had always bought Mel's phones, and I have always threatened her that if she broke her phone, because she didn't have a phone case on it, I wasn't buying another one.
So as a mom, you're thinking automatically, no phone case.
Absolutely. She was strict about always having a phone case on because she knew I wouldn't buy another one.
So the phone was obviously still had power.
It did have power.
All right. Did you look at the phone then?
I did.
Okay. Was that when you looked for any calls or messages or anything like that, or was that late?
At first, I was very careful. The whole back of the phone was shattered. Like glass shards sticking out of it, not just dropped it on the floor. It clearly was broken really bad. I picked it up quickly, kind of scrolled. The front screen was broke a little bit, but you could still use it. You could still see. I went to like text messages. I went to Snapchat. I went to Facebook Messenger. I think I even tried Instagram. Like, I'm not an Instagram user. I have an account, but that's because she set it up. But I tried everything that I would know that she would be talking to somebody on, and there was nothing. There was stuff that I had sent to her, but that was it.
So nothing that indicated any conversations with anybody through these apps or through a text from the night of February 17th into the morning of February 18th?
Correct. I didn't see anything.
So what did you do after that?
After when?
After you found her phone?
I think I went back home to see if she showed up at home yet. I grabbed a clear phone case and stuck on her phone because she had a whole bunch of them in her room. And I didn't want the phone falling apart. And then I stayed there, tried to stay calm and see if she'd show up. And she never did. Eventually, I drove back out to the location where I found her phone, to see if her phone case was out there, because I thought it was really suspicious that she didn't have a phone case on her phone. It was daylight now. I drove out there, same place I found her phone. I looked around. I even went like, the on-ramps kind of merge weird right in that area. I went over to the other, I think it's an on-ramp, looked there too to see, maybe it bounced. Looked kind of down in the grassy area. It wasn't there. It was nowhere to be found.
So you didn't find her phone case when you went back out there?
Correct.
And approximately what time do you think that was?
Maybe pushing 8 o'clock-ish. I really don't remember the time. I
After
know
you
that it
went
was
back out
daylight.
to the scene, where'd you go after that?
I think I called my mom, and I was like, I had gotten a notification that my mom had left her house. And I said, hey, smell over there? She's like, I don't know, go look. Because I knew the pin to get in her house, and her dogs wouldn't, they know me. I lived there for 4 years, or 5, I can't remember. But I don't know, go look, we're not home right now, is what she said. So I was like, okay. So I went to my mom's house. My mom has a finished basement that has bedrooms down there. I went and looked around. I opened every single door in the entire house. Mel wasn't there.
So she's not at her grandma's house then?
Not at her grandma's.
Are you starting to get more concerned then?
Yeah.
What did you do next?
I think I drove through Marion, and I think I went to the police station.
And sometime in there is when you reached out to the defendant around 9:46 a.m., right?
Correct.
Okay. So you had her phone at that point in time, but you still didn't know where she was.
Correct.
And then at February 18th at 11:43 a.m., it looks like an unsent message. You remember that?
I don't, but the Marion Police Department at some time from the time that I got there until the time that we were notified that she was deceased, they had my phone.
Okay. So by February 18th, 2024, did you still have your phone at 3:11 p.m.?
No, I don't think I had it.
So tell us about when you found out that she was deceased. Were you at the Marion Police Department?
I was.
And as you sit here now, do you remember when you talked to a police officer? About what time?
So I went to the police department around 10:30, 10:45, 10 o'clock hour sometime. And I said I'm here to report a missing person. And they took me into a little room, and I filled out a whole bunch of paperwork, and I was in there for 2+ hours.
You remember talking to a Marion police officer, like a uniformed officer?
Yes.
If the uniformed officer's report said it was right around noon when he took the report for you, does that sound about right?
Yes.
So what we saw on this exhibit here earlier there, the conversations where the messages sent by you to Mr. Louisma, were those sent by law enforcement then?
Yes.
That wasn't you.
That wasn't me.
When were you notified that she was deceased then?
Seriously, that day is such a blur.
Sure.
Can't give you a time period. I know that I was downstairs for 2+ hours. Daisy came and brought me a phone charger. Shortly after that, and at this time, they had already had my phone, and she gets there with the charger, and I'm like, I don't need that now. Like, I don't even have my phone with me. We were escorted, her and I were escorted upstairs into a conference room where we were introduced to Ryan with DCI, and we were introduced to Police Chaplain Matt.
So, is that when Ryan, so Special Agent Kedley, is that right?
Yes,
Is that when he advised you that Melody's body had been found?
yes.
So in the days, hours and days after that, when Melody's disappearance and homicide was being investigated, were you contacted by Special Agent Kedley at any point in time or points in time to identify objects?
Yes.
Do you remember what he showed you?
Yes.
Okay, what did he show you?
Melody's phone case.
Anything else?
Are you talking specifically that day or like in order?
Other days, so we'll, yeah, first that day and then in the following.
I was asked to positively identify, if I could, a piece of her shirt and also her glasses.
I want to present to the witness for identification, State's Exhibit number 10F, Your Honor. You see State's Exhibit number 10F?
I do.
What's depicted in that exhibit?
Melody's phone case.
Move to enter State's Exhibit number 10F, Your Honor.
Any objection to 10F? 10F is admitted.
Permission to publish, Your Honor.
10F is published.
Is this, what is this a picture of?
Melody's phone case?
Is this the phone case that she had on her phone when she left your residence the late night of February 17th, 2024?
Yes.
Is this the phone case you were looking for out on Collins Road and Edgewood Road?
Yes.
And how was this phone case, this picture presented to you?
Without a phone in it?
Did Special Agent Kedley show you this picture?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the purpose of him showing you this picture?
I do believe that they recovered it.
Were you able to identify to Special Agent Kedley that this was Melody's phone case?
Yes.
Now we'd like to present to the witness for identification, Your Honor, State's Exhibit 10G. You see that?
I do.
So not that day, but in the following day or two, were you also sent a picture of a pair of glasses by Special Agent Kelly?
Yes.
And is that what's depicted in State's Exhibit number 10G?
Yes.
And you recognize those glasses?
I do.
Whose glasses are they?
Melody's.